What's up, y'all? This is Ant Glizzy and this Barberson TV, and today we got the Rising and Falling or Walkdown Will. And for the people that don't know Walkdown Will is the DMV up-and-coming rapper. He was in the height of his career when he went to jail for murder charges. I don't know Walkdown Will personally, but this is how I met Walkdown Will. See, he from the DMV, so the DMV, the city's so small. So once you get a buzz as a rapper, it just trickle all around the city, especially if you bout what you rap or the streets believe in you or you one of them ones, it's going to rattle the streets and the streets going to be behind you. So Walkdown Will was one of the ones, allegedly, and then he went to jail for murder, so obviously you know he was one of them ones. So Walkdown Will came out with a song. He dropped a song and caught traction. He had ended up getting a rack of numbers. He had getting hundreds of thousands of views. But he in tour with some other rappers. They from 37. The 37 rappers in tour with his neighborhood, the Simple City rappers. So that rap, it's just that rap beef drill turns their numbers up. They do super duper numbers. It's one of the biggest rap beefs in the city. So his opposition's making diss songs. They do 100,000 with ease. They whole block do 100,000. So he rapping, trying to hold his hood down and hold the fort down. He dropping songs. So they dropping music. They dropping diss songs back and forth. Walkdown Will was signed to Major Life. Major Life, all Major Life artists look like they live a major life. Like they keep them in designer clothes. They keep them with the bankrolls, the chains, and keep them up to date and keep them in the loop and keep their career popping. So I definitely shout out to Major Life. I be saying what they do to their rappers' careers. They definitely put the money behind you. So they end up putting the money behind them. And Walkdown Will had end up getting into an argument with a guy named the Clicker. And he from his rival block, 37. He from 37th Street. He another rapper. He had a Walkdown Will diss song. They was dissing each other and talking about each other, dead friends, and who they was smoking on, this, that, and the third, just building the tension up between two neighborhoods.
Night, a motorist pulled up to this intersection, yelled to me, "Has the killer been caught?" I told him no, and it shows you the level of concern here in Shaw caused by last night's shooting right here on the sidewalk behind me. 18-year-old Malik Cisse was gunned down just before midnight, standing alone at the corner of 7th and N Streets Northwest. A resident nearby who was in bed says he heard the gunfire.
Oh man, it sounded like a machine gun.
In the light of day, news of the shooting spreads, scaring people who live and work here in the Shaw neighborhood.
I don't like it because I work over here, and I don't like it.
Investigators are checking video cameras in the area.
It appeared that this individual was targeted. What we know as of today is that a white in color small SUV pulled up alongside this individual, fired a shot, striking this individual.
This part of Shaw is a mix of subsidized housing and gentrification. Just a block up 7th Street, there's the giant supermarket, along with restaurants and a Starbucks. Martin Ryu and his wife moved to Shaw about 4 years ago.
I heard there was a shooting. Obviously, it's a sad event. It's a little bit worrying for us living in the neighborhood. Like we get these crime alerts about muggings at gunpoint, about shootings here.
In the murder of Malik Cisse, tonight D.C. police are offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. That's the latest live from Shaw. Jim, back to you.
All right, let's hope they catch that suspect and fast.
So allegedly, it's a police report that allegedly Walkdown Will knew a mutual girl that knew the guy from the neighborhood that's from the Clicker, and got the girl phone, and he convinced the Clicker to meet him at a train station. This is all allegedly. It's from police reports. The Clicker meets him at a train station, thinking he meeting the girl at the train station, but he really mean his ops. But before I get to that, let's talk about Walkdown Will's career. Walkdown Will was dropping videos as he was coming out. He was on the ride. This is like the PPP run though, y'all. Like pandemic, so everybody in the house. So you hearing everything, you seeing everything. Like rappers that get 30,000 views might be doing 70,000 right now just because of the pandemic. Everybody in the house. I'm doing 1 million. I ain't even rapping. So he going up. Him and Active Baller. Active Baller is another artist that's signed to Major Life. He called himself Top Op. They dropping music. They building the buzz. Baller got songs with Moneybagg Yo. They building relationships. They coming up. They looking good. They shining. They doing numbers. I seen Walkdown Will at a video shoot, and it was going viral on the DMV Hoods and News page, on the media blog pages in the city, that they locked him up at a video shoot. The police ran down a lot of police. He was in the neighborhood with a rack of people shooting a video. And the police just ran down on him and locked him up, and nobody knew what he went to jail for. And later on, he came out with murder charges. So long story short, he in tour with another neighborhood and a guy specifically that he allegedly tricked into meeting him at a train station. This guy meets him at a train station, and this guy gets shot at the train station. He ended up passing away. The Arthur Clicker ended up passing away from his injuries from the setup, the alleged setup. So the police went and did their research and went through Arthur's Clicker phone and found out why he was at that train station to get shot. And I guess they did some investigation. The police reports will show you how they tied it back to him, and they end up locking Walkdown Will up. Walkdown Will was in jail. He sat in jail for about a couple months. Then a year went past. Then time kept going past. And they were screaming, free Walkdown Will. He was going to come home. He was on his way home. I thought he was on his way home. But then I seen a jail post. Walkdown Will got 18 years. He pled guilty to the murder. He pled guilty to it. And I think he got 18 years in jail. But he was an up-and-coming DMV rapper that was on the buzz. He had a promising future because I told you the rappers that live that life and you rap about it, if you can stay out or survive to even get the rewards from it, you will do numbers. They was doing numbers. But he in jail, he pled guilty to it. The other guy from the other neighborhood, he was doing numbers too. In their neighborhood, they got a lot of rappers from their neighborhood, from 37. They all do numbers. And I don't know as far as the beef and all that. I'm not really into that. I'm just a YouTuber. But I feel like everybody be losing in these situations. But it's just a crazy story how you have a buzz. All these rappers have buzz and they just throw them away. They never cherish them.
On Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, at approximately 23:33 hours, members of the Metropolitan Police Department's 3rd District were in the area of 7th and N Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. 2001, PSA 308. When they heard the sound of multiple gunshots, officers immediately began to canvass the area and subsequently located a male victim on the sidewalk along side 1301 7th Street Northwest, suffering from an apparent gunshot wound to the back of the head. DC Fire and EMS personnel were summoned to the scene and transported the victim to Howard University Hospital, where despite all life-saving efforts, the victim was pronounced dead at 0004 hours by Dr. Williams. The descendant's remains were transported to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner for an autopsy. Investigation. On Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, members of Homicide Branch 6 responded to 1301 7th Street Northwest, Gibson Plaza, and viewed the video footage located at the corner of 7th and N Street Northwest. Video footage at 1301 7th Street Northwest, Gibson Plaza. On Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, at approximately 10:55 p.m., the descendant, a male, who is later identified as W1, entered Gibson Plaza via a front door. W1 appears to use a key fob to open the secondary front door. The descendant and W1 then enter the lobby and walk out of the camera's view. 11:22 p.m. The descendant left Gibson Plaza alone via the front door and walked directly across the street, east side to the west side. The descendant then walked south towards the intersection of 7th Street and N Street, northwest. 11:31 p.m. The video footage, monitor 3, camera D1, 23, 23, 17, which is an hour and 4 minutes ahead of real time, shows the descendant walking to the corner of 7th and N Street Northwest. At this time, the video footage shows the descendant standing at the corner of 7th and N Street Northwest, and it appears that he's about to cross the street. A white mid-size SUV pulls up. The vehicle never stops but slows down when the driver approaches the descendant at the corner. In the video, you see the descendant get shot from the left driver's side of the vehicle. The vehicle then makes a left from 7th and N Street Northwest and turns onto the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest, heading southbound. The lookout for the suspect vehicle was for a white mid-size SUV with tinted windows, a roof rack, and a sunroof. The vehicle appeared to be a Toyota RAV4. The left driver window was possibly partially broken. Surveillance video, Washington Apartments, 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest. During the course of this investigation, law enforcement reviewed surveillance video that was recorded by external cameras affixed to the apartment complex known as the Washington Apartments. The apartment complex is located on the east side, 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest, and stretches from 7th and N Streets to 7th and M Streets Northwest. 11:13 p.m. The suspect vehicle, identified as a white Toyota RAV4, drove west in the 600 block of N Street Northwest and parked facing west towards the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. The headlights were turned off and no one appeared to exit or enter the vehicle. 11:22 p.m. The suspect vehicle left the parking space and entered the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. The vehicle then turned left at the intersection and traveled south in the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest. The vehicle then turned left at the intersection and traveled east in the 600 block of M Street Northwest. The vehicle was last seen heading towards the intersection of 7th and M Street Northwest. Murder scene, likely driving around the block. 11:26 p.m. The suspect vehicle drove west again in the 600 block of N Street Northwest and parked facing towards the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest for a second time. The vehicle lights were turned off and no one appeared to exit or enter the vehicle. 11:29 p.m. The descendant crossed the street from the area of the Mount Vernon Square Metro Station to the east side of the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest. The descendant then walked north in the 1200 block of 7th Street toward the intersection of 7th and N Streets. Murder scene. The descendant is observed walking alone with a cellular phone in its hand. 11:31 p.m. The descendant reached the intersection of 7th and N Streets and stepped off the curve as if to cross over to the 1300 block of 7th Street Northwest towards Gibson Plaza. Upon doing so, the descendant was stopped in his path by the suspect vehicle that left its parking spot and sped toward the intersection. As the suspect vehicle crossed paths with the descendant, a subject or subjects on the driver's side of the vehicle opened fire on the descendant. The descendant immediately collapsed to the ground and remained at his location until DC FEMS arrived. 11:31 p.m. Following the shooting, the suspect vehicle turned left at the intersection and traveled south in the 1200 block of South Street Northwest. The vehicle then turned left at the intersection of 7th and M Street Northwest and traveled east in the 600 block of M Street Northwest, where it was last seen headed towards the intersection of 6th and M Street Northwest. Surveillance video from the Washington Convention Center. During the course of the investigation, law enforcement reviewed surveillance video that was recorded by an external camera affixed to the north side of the Washington Convention Center. The camera is elevated and faces east towards the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. The video timestamp is 4 minutes faster than true time. The following timeline has subtracted the difference to reflect true time. The murder occurred approximately at 11:30 p.m. at the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. 11:22 p.m. After leaving Gibson Plaza, the descendant walked south and crossed the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. The descendant continued walking south in the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest and ultimately out of the camera's view. The descendant is last seen heading towards 7th and M Street Northwest. The suspect vehicle, which had been parked in the 600 block of N Street facing the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest, then left its parking spot and followed the descendant southbound in the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest. 11:26 p.m. The suspect vehicle drove west in the 600 block of N Street Northwest and parked from whence it came facing west towards the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. The vehicle headlights were turned off and no one appears to exit or enter the vehicle. 11:31 p.m. The headlights for the suspect vehicle are turned on and the vehicle drives from the spot and stops at the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. The descendant is then observed walking into the camera's view and stepping off the curve as if to cross over to the 1300 block of 7th Street Northwest towards Gibson Plaza. Upon doing so, the descendant was stopped in his path by the suspect vehicle. At this time, a subject or subjects on the driver's side of the vehicle opened fire on the descendant. The descendant immediately collapsed to the ground and remained at this location. Mount Vernon Square, 7th Street Convention Center, Metro video footage. In order to corroborate the above information, members of law enforcement obtained surveillance video from the Mount Vernon Square, 7th Street Convention Center Metro station. Upon viewing the video, the following was observed. The video footage below is from Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, 10:39 p.m. W1 and the descendant enter the metro station and walk towards the kiosk to meet a female. Shortly thereafter, they leave the station. 11:25 p.m. The descendant enters the metro station alone and walks towards the kiosk to meet a female. 11:27 p.m. The descendant exits the metro station alone after not meeting the female. Note, at approximately 11:31 p.m., the descendant is killed shortly thereafter while walking back to W1's residence. Evidence recovered. Technicians from the Department of Forensic Sciences photographed, diagrammed, and scanned the crime scene. technicians recovered a total of 12 expended shell casings, 7 9mm shell casings, and 5 .40 caliber shell casings were removed from the intersection of 7th and N Street Northwest. A projectile was also recovered from the area of suspected blood near a light pole located at the corner of 7th and N Streets Northwest. The descendant's black Samsung cell phone with damage was recovered from the area of the suspected blood by the light pole at the corner of 7th and N Streets Northwest. Fragments of tinted glass were recovered from the intersection of 7th and N Streets Northwest, possibly from the suspect vehicle. On Thursday, January 9th, 2020, a vehicle lookout poster, BOLO, containing a photo of the suspect vehicle was prepared and disseminated to all 7 police districts in Washington, D.C. and the surrounding jurisdiction. YouTube video of Walkdown Wheel, defendant William Whitaker, and the Clicker, descendant Malik Cease, on the train a few weeks prior to January 8th murder. During the course of this investigation, a member from the intelligence unit provided your affiant and other members of Squad 6 with information and video footage of the descendant and defendant Whitaker. On December 16th, 2019, there was a video posted on YouTube with the title 37th and DMG affiliate Octaclicker press out by Walkdown Wheel Simp City Goons. In the video, the descendant is sitting in a seat on the train with some friends. On the opposite end, you hear a male's voice speaking to the ascendant. The video is actually an Instagram video, picture 1 below, posted by Big Pimp Webby. The caption reads as follows: at Octaclicker, descendant. Stand on that music you talk. 2 laughing emojis. Lose scared. S to step off, nigga. Be in they rap. You loose, shawty. Don't they to me, op niggas. When the audio of the video starts, the operator of the video starts walking up to the descendant while he's sitting on the train. The male states, look at this nigga. You want to step off? Come on. And I'm going to hit your ass. Step off, shawty. You a goofy nigga. Laughing. Come on, Mo. You supposed to be Octaclicker. Note, at this point, the male has approached the descendant while he is sitting on the train, and the harassment continues. The video then stops and goes to a screenshot, picture 2 below. This screenshot is a conversation between the defendant Whitaker via his Instagram account, etc., and the descendant Cease's Instagram account. Instagram account listed. The video then goes to an Instagram video of the descendant addressing the defendant about what occurred on the train. The descendant mentions that the defendant caught him at a time that he didn't have his Glock on him. Then the descendant posts picture 3, see below, referring to the defendant. The video then goes to a black male who is a friend of the descendant addressing the defendant about doing the video on the train. The video then goes to Big Pimp Webby, who is an associate of the defendant, and this individual is addressing the descendant about what occurred on the train and the descendant's previous comments to the defendant. The YouTube video is approximately 2 minutes and 38 seconds in duration. Picture 2. Somebody tell this nigga, stop texting me. Stop acting like that was you, big boy. At Big Pimp Webby. 100% emoji. Crying emoji. Hand on face emoji. On Friday, January 10th, 2020, Dr. Gissy, official of Chief Medical Examiner for the District of Columbia, performed the descendant's autopsy. At the conclusion of the autopsy examination, Dr. Gissy advised that the descendant sustained a gunshot wound to the right hand. A fairly intact projectile was removed from this area. The descendant also suffered a superficial wound to the left shoulder area. This bullet continued to travel and entered the left side of the descendant's head, causing his death. Dr. Gissy advised that the descendant's death was caused by a gunshot wound to the head and ruled the manner of death to be a homicide. Descendant's cell phone extraction. On Saturday, January 11th, 2020, your affiant submitted a request to the Department of Forensic Science, Digital Evidence Unit, to extract the data content from the descendant's black Samsung cell phone with damage that was recovered from the area of the suspected blood at the corner of 7th and N Street Northwest. The descendant's cell phone contents revealed several text messages via Instagram with a username Deborah Trust That. The text messages from the date of the murder, January 8th, start with Deborah Trust That at 11:13 p.m. and end at 11:27 p.m. Below are the messages between the descendant, I'm active, I'm icy, and initially an unknown person going by Deborah Trust That. 11/8/2020, 11:13 p.m. From Deborah Trust That to I'm active, I'm icy. All right. I'm not catching the bus, I'm catching the train. Response. Bruh, if you not there on D, don't talk to me no more. Response. All right. Response from I'm active, I'm icy. Where you at though? Response. I'm about to leave out. Response. All right. Response. You on the train? Response. Yes, my phone on 4, bruh. I'm about to get off. The border. Response. I'ma text you when I get there. Response. All right. Response. Where you at? Deborah Trust That, Texas. I'm active, I'm icy. Empty data file. Note, this affiant was able to obtain the reference photo, which is a picture taken from the corner of 6th and M Street Northwest, and this photo shows the white wall and gold fence that encloses the United House of Prayer for All People. Response. The border trust that sends to I'm active, I'm icy. Why did the GPS make me come here? Response. Where's that at? Response. It's a church. Where I gotta go? Call me. My phone's on 2. It's gonna hang up on D. It ain't no store right there? W3's Instagram page, or Witness 3, after viewing several social media pages, this affiant believes that the descendant was communicating with a female with a Twitter page of Chocolate Gotti, Pretty Girl Domo. On this Twitter page, W3, or Witness 3, has the following. Rest easy, Duran. Deborah, 100. Northwest Nikki, trust me, Deborah. As listed above, the descendant has this female in his phone as Deborah Trust That, which is listed as an Instagram source app. Interview with Witness 1, here and after, W1. On Friday, January 17th, 2020, at 13:12 hours, Detectives Crystal Boyd and Brian Wise interviewed W1, who is an associate of descendant Malik Seiss. W1 stated that it and the descendant were hanging out at the 1300 block of 7th Street Northwest when the descendant received a text message from an unknown female. W1 stated that the female was unknown to it, but the descendant stated he knew the female. W1 stated that the descendant told it he was going to leave and was going to walk to the train station to meet the female. W1 stated in the interview that W1 decided to walk with the descendant because it was late at night and approaching 11 p.m. W1 stated that they left the residence and proceeded to walk to Mount Vernon Metro Station, which is located at 700 M Street Northwest. W1 stated that it and the descendant got to the station and the descendant was texting the female. W1 stated that the descendant showed a picture of the female from the descendant's phone. W1 stated that it had never seen that female before, but described this female as having a medium to light complexion with long hair and curls. W1 stated that the descendant was sending the female text messages and that the female indicated that it was on the train to meet the descendant. W1 stated that the female advised that its phone was at 1%. W1 stated it didn't feel right about meeting the girl and told the descendant that they should leave the situation and go back to W1's residence. W1 stated that they left the station and walked back to W1's residence. W1 stated that once they got back to W1's residence, they stayed there for a while until the descendant received a text message from the unknown female. Again, W1 advised that it told the descendant not to go back outside to the train station to meet the female, but the descendant insisted. W1 stated that it told the descendant to call W1 when he got back to W1's residence so W1 could let him back into the building. W1 stated it didn't feel right with the descendant meeting the unknown female and felt that the situation was odd, that this female was on the train late at night. W1 stated it noticed some time had passed and W1 hadn't heard from the descendant. W1 stated that it heard gunshots and went outside and saw the descendant laying at the corner of 7th and N Street Northwest with the police. Interview with Witness 2, here and after, W2. On Friday, January 17th, 2020, at approximately 1940 hours, your affiant responded to George Washington Hospital to interview W2 in reference to some information it provided to Capitol Police Officer. W2 stated that on the night the descendant was shot and killed, the descendant was at its house on 37th Street Southeast when the descendant was talking to a female on the phone. W2 stated that the descendant told it he was going to leave and meet the female on 7th Street Northwest, which W2 refers to as KDP or DMG. W2 stated it told the descendant not to go around there to meet the female. W2 stated that the descendant left and it later heard the descendant was killed. W2 stated that the descendant had been living with W2 for a while since the descendant didn't have any place to go. W2 stated it had known the descendant since he was a kid. Gun 1, 9mm cartridge. December 21st, 2019. ADW, gun, at 300 block, 37th Street, Southeast. January 1st, 2020. Sound of gunshots at 4400 block, East Street, Southeast. January 1st, 2020. Sound of gunshots at 4903 Alabama Avenue, Southeast. January 5th, ADW, gun, at 4803 Alabama Avenue, Southeast. January 8th, 2020, homicide of Malik Seiss at 1301 7th Street, Northwest. January 8th, ADW, gun at 4302 D Street, Southeast. Gun involving defendant William Whitaker. April 9th, gun at 1360 Morris Road, Southeast. Gun 2, 40 caliber round, cartridge casings. June 22nd, 2019. Sound of gunshots at 1540 Butler Street, Southeast. January 1st, 2020. Sound of gunshots at 4400 East Street, Southeast. January 1st, 2020. Sound of gunshots at 4903 Alabama Avenue, Southeast. January 4th, 2020. Unlawful firearm discharge at 3715 O Street, Southeast. January 5th, 2020. ADW gun at 4803 Alabama Avenue, Southeast. January 8th, 2020. Homicide of Malik Seiss at 1301 17th Street, Northwest. January 8th, 2020. ADW 320, pause back. January 8th, 2020. ADW, gun at 4302 D Street, Southwest. Gun involving defendant William Whitaker. February 21st, 2020. Gun recovered. 40 caliber Glock 23. And arrest of Jeffrey Brooks, Jamonte Brown, and Trenton Dickory at 4801 Allen Road, Camp Springs, Maryland. On Thursday morning, January 9th, 2020, at approximately 12:12 a.m., a 911 call came into the zone from 1310 7th Avenue, United Medical Center, for a gunshot victim who walked into the hospital. The hospital advised that the victim, defendant Whitaker, was brought to the hospital in a gray Ford Focus bearing MD paper tags 185342T. According to the CAD information, the shooting occurred at the 4300 block of C Street Southeast. There were multiple calls to the zone for sounds of gunshots, with 911 callers reporting hearing 2 shots, but the callers didn't see anything. On Thursday, January 9th, 2020, at approximately 12:25 a.m., 6 district detectives received a call from 7th District Patrol units advising that there was a gunshot victim at United Medical Center. The victim reported to 7th District Patrol unit that he, Whitaker, was shot in the 4300 block of D Street Southeast. During this time, he didn't provide the officers any further information. 6 district officers advised the 6 district detectives that they received a 911 radio run for the sounds of gunshots in the 4300 block of D Street Southeast. The patrol units were then dispatched to the 911 caller's residence. The 911 caller advised it had footage of a vehicle driving through the block firing gunshots. The 6th District detective responded to the 911 caller's location to interview said caller and view the footage. The caller provided the video to the 6th District detective via email. The video showed a dark colored vehicle driving onto D Street Southeast from Burbank Street Southeast. The vehicle gets into the intersection of D Street Southeast and Chaplin Street Southeast, and 2 shots are clearly heard being fired from the right side of the vehicle. Also, the vehicle shows that the firearm is fired in a raised position. You can see the muzzle flash at an upward position from the hood of the vehicle. There was no one in view of the camera in front of 401 D Street Southeast. With the audio, you don't hear anyone yelling as if they were shot, nor do you see anyone running. The vehicle turns onto Chaplin Street Southeast and continues toward Texas Avenue Southeast. The vehicle in the footage appears to look like a vehicle, dark colored Ford Fusion, that was recovered from UMC that the defendant, Whitaker, was occupying when he was taken to the hospital. Pursuant to a search warrant, information from the descendant's Instagram account, Really Clicking, was obtained and reviewed. As referenced above in the descendant's text messages, the Instagram results show the conversations between the descendant and W3 beginning prior to 11 p.m. on January 8th, 2020. As indicated on page 6421 of the descendant's Instagram records, the messages between W3 and the descendant began at 7:45 p.m. on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. The author of the first thread was from deleted Instagram name W3 and Really Clicking, the descendant. Conversations between the two parties. Where you at? Up 7th Street? Question mark. By the Giant. You need the Addy? Meaning address. Yeah, but can you meet me? I gotta catch the bus? Yeah, where? In what bus? What station right there? Mount Vernon? Can you meet me right there? Yeah. At this point, conversations between the two continue via text messages. Deleted Instagram name, believed to be W3, mentions to the descendant that he better not be on the wild, and the descendant replied with the response, on Rico, I'm not. You better not be on none. The descendant advised the user of Instagram name account to direct message the descendant when they got there, meaning to the 7th Street Northwest. During these conversations, deleted Instagram account asked the descendant if they could bring a friend with them. The descendant inquires who the person is. Deleted Instagram account wants to bring with them. Deleted Instagram account advised that it is going to come with a female cousin who drives. The conversations continue, and the defendant's Whitaker's name is mentioned as follows. Deleted Instagram account sends, Lord, I only said that because I thought you were on some janky response. For what? And I'm going to meet you at the station. Response. Because I used to with Will, referring to the defendant. But don't put me in that. Trust me. At this time, conversations continue back and forth with the two parties continuing on page 6441. After reading the messages, it is clear that the two parties keep missing each other at the train station. The very last text message is as follows. My phone about to die. Thus, at 11:31, all communication between the two ceases as deleted Instagram account. Stop sending the descendant any messages. The descendant is shot and killed 1 minute later at 11:31 p.m. Pursuant to the search warrant, information from W3's Instagram account, Northwest Nikki, was obtained and reviewed. These records show that W3 asked its friends, social media followers, to post that the social media page Northwest Nikki was hacked and wanted followers to follow W3's on its alternative page, Fun Size Brat, as follows. Northwest Nikki sends, y'all do me a favor? Responds, post me and say, my page got hacked, follow W3 Fun Size. Responds, but for real though. Responds, laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. Mo, ya. Responds, why your stink? Hack my sister page. 4. Responds, kissed by Kia. Neek, you're wow, S. Responds, how? Responds, kissed by Kia again. Why is Ock dead? The chain of text messages continue on with other social media users asking W3, Northwest Neat, Fun Size Brat, if W3 set up or had any involvement with the descendant being killed. W3 makes several comments that W3 didn't have anything to do with the descendant's death and that W3 was not picking sides. W3 commented that it used to talk to Ock, the descendant, and repeatedly states its page was hacked. The messages continue for several pages with the group chats that W3 is a recipient of. The messages make reference to W3 being the last person the descendant spoke to, and that some people have viewed their messages on his page. The messages are accusing W3 of staging W3's page as being hacked, which one person refers to as an op. After the messages continue, without W3 responding back to the messages, W3 eventually states the following. Fun Size Brat responds, I already said what I had to say. I wasn't on my page literally. The streets gon' talk. It's no way I can prove who was hacking me. I'm so sorry that happened to him. On D I am. But I was never supposed to link with him. 100%. In W3's IP address section of her Instagram account, record minutes before and after the murder, there are several of the following activities on W3's Instagram account. Deactivation, reactivation, logins, logouts, profile changes, starting up a new account, etc. This coincides with the messages that were sent to the descendant and W3 informing it friends that W3 wanted them to state that her page was hacked.
But yeah, this for the people that ain't know who Walkdown Will was. That's the Walkdown Will story and how his career came to a halt because of a murder investigation. He pled guilty to murder and he received 18 years. Barberson.